Hi everyone, it's Troy from Complete Health Geelong here. I just want to do a talk on why do you feel so empty after being with the narcissist? What happens? So, these are buckets. These are what fills you. These are all this is your empathy, your personality, all your good traits, your core values, your limiting beliefs. And I'm going to put a good spin on this too, a positive spin. So what happens is, this is all your love, all your caring, basically everything the narcissist doesn't have, So if you're a codependent, let's say, just for argument's sake, you've got a half cup full. And that's just full of good stuff, just really good stuff. Now, when you're with a narcissist, we know that they just take and take and take. And we know that as, codependents, we like to give and give. And if you're anything like me, and you probably are if you're watching this video, you gave everything to this relationship. You gave them everything, every part of you, every single bit of emotion that you had. The problem is they kept it, because it's not a 50-50 relationship with the narcissist. They just keep taking and taking and taking. So what happens is your levels keep getting lower and lower and lower. And they just keep getting it out. So you're just tipping it all into them. You're tipping all of yourself into them, just constantly. So the problem is they've got a hole in their bucket. So all the goodness and everything keeps coming out. That's why the narcissist does what they does. They just are constantly needing to get the fuel. So consider this as fuel. So they just need the fuel. They need the supply. But it doesn't store. It just keeps going out. Now, while yours gets lower and you end up empty, at the end of the relationship, a lot of people will say, I thought I was the narcissist. Well, you've given and 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 given. And now you're empty. What are they? They're empty as well. So for a little while there, you essentially become like them. That's also why you resemble the traits and everything so much. It's just another way to look at it. Now, if you remember in a previous video, I talked about limiting beliefs. So limiting beliefs are things that hold you back. You're not good enough and everything like that. So the good thing about being empty is they took all that bad stuff with them as well. They took everything from you, but they also took the bad stuff. You can let them keep that. That's sweet as. Because now you get to build from that foundational level again. So now what you're trying to do is you're trying to pour back into your cup. How do we do that? Because now you're trying everything essentially again for the first time. So you got to try new things. You got to find new hobbies. You got to set boundaries. You got to work on codependency. You've got to learn to be assertive. You've got to learn on your complex trauma. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. You've got to learn about yourself. You've got to start maturing. You've got to start being an adult. And eventually your cup will refill. And every one of these lines is what you choose to put in it. Your empathy will come back. Your compassion for yourself that you probably actually never had for yourself will come back. Meanwhile, sure, they'll stay, like you for a little bit, not long, if at all. But they will be empty again very soon. This is also another reason why the narcissist moves on so quick into relationships. Because they need that constant supply. Otherwise, they just feel empty. They feel lost. They feel like you do right now all the time. And if you were good supply, which if you're watching this video, you would have been the main supply, they're feeling totally empty without you. That's why they've always got a supply waiting. They've always got a harem garage of people waiting. It's why they always go back and message old partners that they hurt. It's why they post all the provocative photos. It's why they send all that, the nudes and stuff like that. They do it all to get attention because it's validation. They only live off validation. You can live off all sorts of things, but they can only live off validation. So a lot of people don't talk about the fact that they take all the bad stuff away from you as well. And I think that's extremely important to know, because it gives you the hope and the and the visualization here to show you that this is why you can build yourself stronger than you were before. They not only took the good, they took the bad, and now it's your choice how you rebuild yourself. That's a very important thing to know. All right, so I hope you keep this in mind next time you're feeling empty. You can go do that exercise that I showed you to see what you need to do at the moment, and it all fills back in. And you'll notice in a lot of my videos too, I know a lot of other YouTube channels and a lot of other pages and stuff like that, they will just talk about the narcissist constantly and what they did and why they do the things that they do. And every single video I've put out, I always say a little bit about the narcissist, and then I talk about you as well. Because if you're only concentrating on the narcissist, you're not going to heal. It was a two-way street. Yes, they were evil, but you enabled that. So it's important to heal yourself so that you can become a survivor. If at the moment you're only thinking about what they did to you, that's a victim mentality. You will go through that. Everybody goes through that. And that's why I teach narcissism in this way, so that way you can see what is happening to both of you. So concentrate on rebuilding yourself. Now, this takes time. It takes a lot of time. The more you put in to the relationship, the longer it's going to take to heal. You know, and I know you put everything that you had into it. That's why you're feeling so empty now, because you're an empty shell at the moment. The good thing is you get to fill it with exactly the right things that you want. The things that you're too scared to do before, you will be able to do now. Well, after you do the work. And that's an exciting thing. A lot of people will be anxious around this stage. You know, all their confidence and everything's gone with it. But now you get to rebuild it back by doing one baby step thing at a time. So each one of these lines, chuck something in. Learn a language. Learn a musical instrument. Start a side hustle. Start going to the gym. Start sitting with your emotions. Start learning about all this stuff. Go back to school. A lot of things too will change. This is all part of maturing. And some things you'll want to try again for the first, and when you try it, it'll be like you're seeing it again with new eyes. Even food, everything. Sometimes people taste change. Their hobbies change. Their taste in music will change. Because you're starting again, essentially. And because you've gotten rid of all these toxic things, you've gotten rid of all these good things as well. Don't get me wrong, they took all the good. But it does build back up. And this is how you level up. Before you only had half a cup. They had an empty cup. As a codependent, you're only accessing, well, you're not accessing all of your emotions. That's why you're a codependent. Well, that's a big part of it anyway. So instead of having a half cup, now you get to build yourself back up to have essentially a full cup, like a normal person, so to speak. So I hope that helps. And next time you're feeling empty, remember this graph, and remember you will get there, and it does take time, and it takes a lot of time, and it's a different amount of time for every person. So everyone always asks, how long is this going to take? I've asked it myself, and it takes as long as it takes, and that's the best answer. I do know the more work you put in, the conscious work you put in, the faster you will heal. But make sure you're sitting with yourself and showing yourself some compassion. You're showing yourself some love, and you are sitting with these emotions. All right. Take care.